Do you know what today is? It's White History Wednesday. Hey, how you doing? It's your girl, Maya Lamise. And for those of you who are new here, White History Wednesday was made specifically for the people who said, why do black people need a whole 30 days to tell their history? And for that, I give you 52 days. Every Wednesday, we're going to tell white history, okay? You ready to hear it? Here it go. So today, I want to start off with the two-headed nightingales, sorry. Now, this was a pair of conjoined twins born into slavery and sold multiple times. Due to their unique circumstances, Millie and Christine McCoy were exploited, trafficked, and placed in freak shows, named the eighth wonder of the world. Now, during this time, they didn't just sit around and let people laugh at them, and they took this time to soak everything in and learn. So while they were on tour, being pranced around like some zoo animals, they taught themselves how to read, write, play instruments, and sing. Okay. So once they were free, they went back and bought the plantation that they were born on, and their parents just so happened to still be there, and they ran the plantation with their parents. Shout out to them. Yes, because I've been getting a lot of comments saying that Caucasian people freed us as if we didn't work, our ancestors didn't work hard to free themselves. Anywho, we're going to talk about the Starlight Tours, okay? And I might butcher this, okay? Somebody let me know if I'm saying it wrong in the comments. In Saskatoon, Canada, and other areas, the police would arrest indigenous people, take them far away from home, like miles away, and make them walk back in less -0 degree weather. White History Wednesday. Because the crazy thing is, they did this to Native Americans. And I really want to point this out because last week I talked about how they were stealing their children and pretty much forcing them to believe that they're Caucasian when they're not. I actually met a lady. We're going to get into it. I met a lady who that actually happened to. Like, she was a patient at my job, and me and her just got to talking about the situation. And she was like, yeah, it happened to me. And I was like, wow. But it's something coming for that soon. Anywho, November 29th, 1990, and that was just, 34 years ago, 35 years ago, Neil Stonechild was found face down in the field 5 miles north of his home. The temperature dropped -18 degrees. Like, how inhumane do you have to be to put somebody outside in that kind of weather? Because at 40 degrees, I'd be over here shivering. So -18, you leave somebody to walk home with nothing but jeans and a t-shirt on. No shoes, no jacket, no nothing. And then people saw him, right, get beat up and cuffed in the backseat of the police car. However, the story that was released was that he walked away drunk from a party. That's, I guess, him being drunk is why he didn't have no clothes on in the cold. But he walked away drunk from a party to go turn himself into the police, and then he ended up freezing to death. White History Wednesday, because that sounds like a cover up to me. That definitely sounds like a cover up to me. Now, I want to get into slave in a box. Have you ever heard of slave in a box? Me neither, not until now. So apparently the thing that we all love that has changed names over the course of time started off, it became slave in a box once slavery ended. Okay, so in the 1950s, when Caucasian people lost domestic workers, pancake mix was marketed as slave in a box. Yes, what kind of pancake mix do you ask? Pearl Milling, aka Aunt Jemima. Okay, what they did was they took a picture from the minstrel shows of a black woman, and then they made her Aunt Jemima. And y'all know we used to love that Aunt Jemima all the time. However, Pearl Milling used to market that as slave in the box. Apparently, the pancakes were so good and so easy and fast to make that you felt like you still had a slave in your house.
Wow.
History Wednesday. Okay, so now we are going to get into some things, and y'all please bear with me because this is a lot of information you're about to receive. So I got a comment the other day asking me to look into eugenics, and I was like, oh, what is that? Buckle your seatbelts, we're going on a ride. Okay, eugenics is an inaccurate theory linked to historical and present day forms of discrimination, racism, ableism, and colonialism. Okay, the theory is that humans can be improved through selective breeding of population. Remember, we talked about breeding forms. It's worse than it's not worse than breeding forms. It just shows how uneducated they are. Okay, so eugenics practices has caused a widespread harm, particularly to populations that are being marginalized. All right. So it gained popularity during the early 20th century. Eugenists worldwide believed that they could perfect human beings and eliminate so-called social ills through genetics and heredity. Right. They believe that the use of methods such as involuntary sterilization, we talked about that. The Mississippi appendectomies. Yeah. Segregation and social exclusion would rid society of individuals deemed by them unfit. Keyword, by them unfit. By them unfit. Because who the fuck do you think you are to say somebody is unfit? White History Wednesday. But let's continue because there's also another part to it called scientific racism. Right? Now, scientific racism is the ideology that appropriates the methods and legitimacy of science to argue for the superiority of Caucasian European and inferiority of non-Caucasian people. Oh, oh, because y'all be really trying to act like y'all don't be understanding what be going on, right? So pretty much they saying that the scientific part of it is that white Caucasian people are superior. Do you believe that? I don't. Okay. Francis Galton coined the term eugenics in 1883. Galton defined eugenics as the study of agencies under social control that may improve or impair the racial qualities of future generations, either physically or mentally. Galton claimed that the health and disease, as well as social and intellectual characteristics, were based upon heredity and the concept of race. So pretty much they have a concept that depending on your race determines how good or bad of a person you will be. However, we all know that that's not true. But this is why History Wednesday, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading. And these are facts. These are facts. So y'all know. During the 1870s and 1880s, so-called experts determined individuals and groups of people to be either superior or inferior. They believed biological and behavioral characteristics were fixed and unchangeable and placed individual populations and nations inside of a hierarchy. By the 1920s, eugenics had become a global movement. There was popular, elite, and governmental support for eugenics in Germany, the United States, Great Britain, Italy, Mexico, Canada, and other countries. Y'all, these people are sick. These people are sick. Do you hear and understand me? These people are sick. Oh my goodness. Because they really thought that this thing was going to work. But it didn't work because the most well-known application of eugenics occurred in Nazi Germany. Between 1933 and 1945, they used this resource to cleanse the German people of those they deemed unworthy of life. They euthanized at least 70,000 adults and 5,200 children. They implemented a campaign of forced sterilization that claimed the lives of at least 400,000 victims. And this was in Germany. This was in Germany. This is now all of this. Let me tell you the why, because the why is very important. The why is that they were concerned of race suicide, okay, or the increasing differential birth rates between immigrants and non-Caucasian people compared to native-born Caucasian people. Meaning, what's going on now? How their population is declining. They pretty much came up with eugenics because they're like, yeah, we're going to take the best of the best and create babies to create better people so the world will be a better place. And we're going to stop black people from having kids and stop other races from having kids. And we're going to pretty much populate our own so that way we will always be superior to them, which backfired because with all of those breeding farms and everything they had, we started to outgrow them and outnumber them. Just like now in 2025. Do y'all know in 2030 that minorities, what they try to say are minorities, because we're really not the minorities anymore, that we are going to overpopulate them, and that's why all this immigration stuff is going on, and they trying to get rid of people and bring in the Caucasian Africans, the white Afrikaners. It's a numbers game. I keep telling y'all that, but y'all got to keep up and follow with me, okay? So pretty much eugenics use the concerns to promote discriminatory policies like anti-immigration and sterilization. This keeps coming up in this article because Henrietta Lacks, the Mississippi appendectomy, like, hello, people, this is they really thought that they can control our population by doing these things, and we still came back better than ever. White History Wednesday, okay? I'm done with the eugenics because this is really, no, matter of fact, I want to go ahead and do a little bit more, okay? So they declared that certain individuals were unfit, feeble-minded, or antisocial, which resulted in the involuntary sterilization of at least 60,000 people through 30 states in the 1970s, okay? They targeted Latins, Native Americans, African Americans, poor Caucasian people, and people with disability during the entirety of the 20th century. White History Wednesday, because that just made my blood boil a little bit. Because this is why I be questioning science, because y'all really thought that y'all can control the population with science. Anywho, the whistling walk. That's something else that I wanted to talk about. So the whistling walk was enslaved chefs were forced to whistle while they walked inside the main house, because a lot of the times the kitchens were outside. So they had to whistle while they walked to prove that they were not eating the food that they just fucking cooked. You mean to tell me that I have to prove to you that I'm not doing a taste test of what I cooked? Because slaves were not allowed to eat the good. White History Wednesday. And do y'all remember the MOVE organization? I feel like we talked about it at least 2 to 3 times during White History Wednesday, where the pretty much the streets of Philly was bombed by the police there because they didn't like the movement. They didn't like what these people had to say, so they bombed them. Well, now how many years later in 2025, Philly is apologizing. My question is, what the hell is an apology going to do when you took lives?
Come on now.
Took lives, and now you want to apologize in 2025? White History Wednesday. Y'all have a great day. I will see y'all later.
That was a lot to unpack.
Ooh, child.
Listen, White History Wednesday, go down. I be
Oh my gosh.
There's so many questions. Like one thing you made up, not you made up, but you spoke about, and this kind of, have you ever seen The Handmaid's Tale? Or you probably heard about it?
I've heard about it. I don't watch it, but I know of it.
It's. I think y'all should watch it. It's exactly how things are happening now. People know now the other party. There's a party system. The other party was not aware. They're just like letting things happen, and then eventually they end up assassinating them, putting everybody taking the immigrants out of here, killing people. So they end up doing those things, and they slowly but surely started gaining power. And then now these women are forced to be breeded with these men and have to wear bonnets. It's crazy.
It's Project 2025. They literally watched The Handmaid's Tale and wrote. I'm convinced that they saw that and they wrote. That's Project 2025 is 100% based off that shit.
Yes, and then also with J. Marion Sims, you were saying something about science, and I work in medical, and I know they always talk about, oh, he's the Godfather. I said, yeah, but he was sitting here taking women that were slaves, Black women, and he was torturing them.
Yeah.
Working on it with anesthesia,
pain.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you think that's ethical? I mean, before you even get your medical license, you have to swear and all these things, do this whole presentation that you will put the best interest of the people there. So,
but see, that's another
remember,
topic.
They didn't view us as people. We weren't people, so
yeah,
it didn't stand for us. We weren't people. We were objects,
and we didn't feel pain in their eyes. But the medical field is another topic itself, because these people are practicing.
Yeah,
I work in the medical field as well, and the stuff I be hearing these patients say, and the stuff they be just experimenting on people and doing stuff just to get a check.
Yes.
I'm so irritated at work. I'm so ready to leave that job, y'all. Y'all just don't understand, because I can't stand seeing people exploited for money, because that's all it is when you go to a doctor's office. You go there for one thing, they give you medication that fix that one thing, but it mess up everything else. So now you got to come back and they got to keep running. You got to keep paying this money, as if you don't pay a damn premium every month. You got to pay a deductible and out of pocket and all of that stuff. What is all that stuff for if I'm paying you every month?
When Chris Rock said it best, he was like, it's the comeback. The money it ain't in the cure, it's in the comeback. So if they gotta keep us coming back, that's where the money is. You don't think these people got a cure for AIDS? You think these people don't have a cure for cancer? They've been had all this shit. But that's not where the money is, because if we all healthy, then it's nothing to exploit. That's why when you go to other countries, my daughter is abroad right now. It's like, Mama, the McDonald's here, everything here is like so different. It's so many different options. It's so much like food here. It's not how it is. And it's like, there's a reason for that. They need to keep us lethargic and giving us all these pesticides and damn chicken, chicken breast look like the damn chicken itself. It's just like, all of these things is what they need to do to keep us down. They don't want America being an actual functioning society, and they experiment on us. I believe that young lady that I don't know if you have a video about the Black lady that's being kept alive for the sake of the baby. They're experimenting on her. That's all this shit is about.
That's for sure an experiment.
She is the test subject right now, and white women better wake the fuck up, because she is the test subject as to what's coming for them.
Yep, that's all it is. She is a topic. They're experimenting on her to see, can the baby make it? Can we do this? Can we do that? Because they're not pro-life, they're pro-birth. Because once the kid gets here, they don't give a fuck.
Yes.
One thing I want to touch
They don't give a flying fuck.
that Nikki said was, when you said your daughter is abroad and everything is better, that's something that I don't understand about America in these tariffs. I know that's kind of off subject, but they mad that people outside of this country don't want the poison that they fucking feeding us. That don't make no sense. Why would they ever want this?
Because we'll be a functioning society.
Do you know a lot of stuff that they serve here?
Oh no, y'all got to keep going. I was just looking at I was trying to find
a lot of the stuff that they serve here is banned in other countries. They will not allow it in. America know what they're doing.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it seems like I can't find the video, but we'll definitely talk about it next time when we come on, because I'm pretty sure we're gonna do this panel again. But yeah, I definitely want to see that video as well, because when I heard that she was like being kept alive, I said that sounds like an experiment.
Yeah, it most definitely is.
And I said
that's all it can be.
Because I said there's no point.
And then to make the family pay for it.
Yeah,
come on, that part. But you know what's wild is, I saw a Trumper comment under one of those videos, and sometimes I have to make the choice to walk away from something when it angers me so bad, because I like to approach it from a place of anger, because it's more honest, but also not so much where I'm controlled. What I say is controlled by my emotions. But this person said, she's a piece of meat. She's dead. She's a corpse. The only thing that matters is that baby. And that goes,
a baby that may not make it.
If that's not the most, if that's not a clear indication of what they think about Black people, because I guarantee you, if that was a white woman laying on that table, brain dead by all accounts, being kept alive, there would be so much compassion. There would be so much heartbreak. There would be such an outcry for justice. But that's a Black woman, and she's a piece of meat, and that's what they look at it as. She's an experiment right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. That's it's crazy how they happen that. But I want to read some of your comments too that they comment on your video. So Catherine77 says, I love White History Wednesday. Mr. Pina Colada, it's the WHW Wednesday mornings. Thank you. The Major Key, I watched a documentary on eugenics a few years ago. It also led to the development of Planned Parenthood. Just Moon XH, not a slave in the blocks. Love Wednesday. I learn something new every time. So yeah, I would say keep those videos up. I like White History Wednesday. I'm pretty sure you did you do one? No, you did one this Wednesday.
Yep, every Wednesday. Now I do want to real quick say something to Janine. When these people get in your comments talking crazy, you see these Trumpers, I was about to come up with a few names, but I'm gonna leave them where they at. But I started doing this. I get them links to my YouTube video.
Build up that
argue with yourself, but watch this while you at it.
Yeah.
I just learned that this week, because before I go down the rabbit hole and be going toe to toe, but now nope. Here go a link. Watch another video.
You know what? Let me write that down too, because I'm gonna start doing that.
My favorite thing to do is, well, y'all already know I do my little troll Hall of Fame. I take shit out the comment section, because y'all think I'm going back and forth in the comment section. No, I do global humiliation. But what I do is, when I do comment to them, or I do make my videos, I just restrict them so they can chat. They could go off all fucking day, don't hear it, don't see it. Now you gotta content with what I said, and then I get the final word regardless. So that's what I do. I speak my piece, and then we done with it. I'm not going 12 rounds with you. This is my page. You came here. I didn't come to you. So I'm not going back and forth.
And listen, I'm gonna be sending my cousin y'all way in y'all comments, okay? Because he be exposing people.
I love it.
Exposing people. I'm talking about he be finding addresses, jobs, all that.
Wow. So let's go on to the next video.
All rise. The Court of No Appeals is now in session. I've been gone for
a couple of weeks, so we got a lot to cover, so much so that I had to write the topics down, which I never do. Usually I just hit record and, I go. I'm still doing that, but I just had to write the topics. Having said that, I can't cover everything and everyone. So please don't come into the comments saying, oh, you forgot this, you forgot that. No, I didn't forget. I just can't cover everything and everyone. Sometimes you just got to apply a blanket read to some shit. Now, the first person on the docket, Shannon Sharp, a.k.a. King Dingaling. Come bring that ass on down. First one up to date. Now, it doesn't surprise me that Shannon Sharp is a mandinga. I mean, a nigga looks like Barney dipped in dark chocolate, but he a rich nigga, so fuck looks. Not to mention the fact that tall, collard green and cornbread country ass nigga who at the age 57 still talk like he fresh off the fucking cotton mill. So a white bitch hitting him with a hard ER to make his dick hard is not shocking. Now, one thing about Shannon Sharp, you always got to pay attention to a nigga that talks in quotes and sound bites, especially motivational quotes. Because if you pay attention to him, when he speaks, he doesn't have like normal conversation. It's always a fucking quote, anecdote, or some type of shit. Come on now, Skip. You know, my granddad used to always tell me the toe you step on today might be connected to the foot or the leg of the man whose ass you got to kiss tomorrow. See, that was promise. You count time. I make time count. You don't determine your worth. Your worth is determined by the person that's going to pay the price. Like I always tell people, you got to put limits on what you give because the takers don't put no limits on what they're going to take. Anytime a nigga that's not a preacher is talking to you like one, it's a reason behind that shit. Yes, ma'am. If he can make you see him as the preacher, you'll never think of him as being the sinner. That's what that shit is about. And a lot of y'all niggas be eating it up, especially Ocho Cinco and preach, no. You spitting, no, that nigga ain't spitting, is regurgitate. I guarantee you, he was sitting down one day and he told a fucking anecdote about what his grandma or grandpa said, and it went well, and then that just became a part of the fucking brand. Because clearly this nigga ain't taking his own advice. Because if you watch my content, you see I made a whole fucking clips of him going against his own fucking self. Cat Williams tried to tell you, Monique tried to tell you, the closest you're gonna get to ever being a white man is fucking a white woman, which is why you niggas do it. Especially you niggas that immediately come into some money or some fucking status. Because you're under the presumption that being in proximity to white pussy is gonna put you in proximity to white power. That never has been, nor will it ever be the fucking case. Because what the white man giveth, the white man shall taketh the fucketh away as soon as you covet and disrespect his bitch. Y'all niggas will leave home quick, fast, and in a motherfucking hurry for Becky's ass, but you don't never stop to realize that Becky ain't never left home for you. Amen. One thing a white woman gonna always have is white tears and white privilege, both of which shall and can be used against you in the court of public opinion and in the court of motherfucking law.
Speak on it.
And yeah, that's some people making the argument about Bill Belichick being 70-some years old with a 24-year-old girlfriend. I don't give a fuck if you're black, white, or whatever the fuck. It's still gross. But nevertheless, the difference between you and Bill Belichick is you're black and rich. He's white and wealthy. He has the complexion for the legal protection. You don't. He can fully finance his freedom. You can't. And can't. Shannon Sharp, we hereby sentence you to a lifetime in white pariah pussy. Because it's already eating you alive, so let it finish the fucking job. Case closed. Next on the docket, we have Shiloh Hendricks, you meth face looking bitch. Now, we all know she was the white woman that called an autistic, 5-year autistic black boy the N-word, and she's probably racked up $1 million plus at this point. I'm not going to touch too much on her. And I know the gentleman that recorded her was not black, but I want to take this as an opportunity to talk to my people. Put the fucking phone down. I know that we're in the age of recording for evidence, but I need you to keep in mind that Rodney King was brutally beaten on camera in May of 1992. I was 11 years old. I'm 44. They didn't give a fuck then. They don't give a fuck now. especially knowing that there's a white supremacist in the White House. And because they know that there's a white supremacist in the White House, white people, white racist people are much more emboldened to say and do shit now more than ever, because they think that there's no consequence, because there's no consequence for the white supremacists in the White House.
Never been.
So they feel much more emboldened to get away with shit. But see, what I need my people to do is put the fucking phone down. Because one thing, white people like to embarrass, but they don't like to be embarrassed right back. And that's when I need y'all to start roasting these motherfucking marshmallows over an open fucking flame. Immediately. I want you to verbally assassinate these motherfuckers so bad their ancestors are crying on their behalf. And when they come into your personal space, now, of course, if you don't feel safe, if it's more of them than it is you, or whatever the case may be, do whatever you need to do to be safe. But if you know that you can handle business and they step into your personal space, handle fucking business. Because once white people learn that when they fuck around and there's a 100% chance they're going to get knocked the fuck out right where the fuck they stand, they're going to cease and desist with a lot of this bullshit.
Amen.
Because notice, white people only talk shit online because they're comfortable behind a fucking screen. And then when they in person, they never talk shit to us when it's just one of them and it's more than one of us. And if they are going to talk shit in that predicament, they always got to have a prop. They went from using a fucking whip to a billy club to a gun. They always got to have some shit in order to be able to talk fucking tough. So put the phone down and start knocking them the fuck out. That's the only way we gonna get some shit resolved. Either start roasting their ass so they fucking retreat, or if they get in your personal space, you know what the fuck to do. Next, I want to talk about Rodney Hinton Jr. Now, I want to say this. If you hail Luigi Mangione as a hero, but you see Rodney Hinton Jr. as a villain, you're racist. Full fucking stop. I don't care. Because vigilantism is vigilantism. But it is not lost on any of us that when a white person takes the law into their own hands, it's always fucking justified. It's always understood. His actions, their actions as a white person was always necessary. But when it comes to black people, we are expected to stay within the means of the justice system, as though the justice system was created to give us fucking justice. And it absolutely the fuck was not. To that sheriff that lost his life, sorry to that man, but now you know what it's like to be on the opposite end of you fit the fucking description.
Period. Oh, girl.
And white people, white racist people, y'all not even mad about that fucking cop. You don't give a fuck about him. You're mad that Rodney Hinton Jr. walked in that courtroom with 20 to 30 officers deep, which is never done, staring him down, and he stared each and every one of them motherfuckers back down. He held his head up high.
Held high.
He showed no remorse because he didn't fucking have it. That's what y'all mad about. And you can fucking stay mad. You're not going to keep killing our children, and you're not going to keep killing us. And it's also not lost that the media is focusing on what Rodney Hinton Jr. did and not why. The sheriff that killed his son lied. That young man was running away. If he was running away, your fucking life wasn't in danger. And you didn't have to shoot him in the back, and you didn't have to murder him. And to that finance company that called in, this lied and said the car was stolen simply because he missed a payment, you might as well cut the fucking check now and close your doors, because you will be out of business. Next, I want to talk about our Black Renaissance. Right now, this country is burning. And despite that, as Black people, we are continuing to foster community within our community. We are finding joy both individually and collectively. We have the GNX tour, we have the Cowboy Carter tour, Sinners and Ironheart, and so much more. And I love that we are taking this time for ourselves, and we have been able to remain unmoved in our joy. And as always, even when we're minding our business, white people are always watching and waiting. And in one of my previous videos, I said that Trump's plans cannot progress without our participation. And he has proven that to be entirely true. That our role in his authoritarianism or his wannabe authoritarianism is very vital. And that was proven on the White Day of Protest on April 5th, 2025. Because that's what it was. It was a day of protest, but essentially it was a day of white protest because Black people sat that shit the fuck out, as we should. Now, when that day of protest happened, there were no incidents. There were no tanks. There were no guns. There was no tear gas. It was no incidents. So much so that you goofy ass white bitch liberals got on here saying, oh, we need to have bouncy houses to entertain the kids like this is a fucking game. That goes to show you that it's not until Black people get out there in the street that they have the tanks, the guns, and the tear gas. And once we're out there and that happens, that's going to create a riot. And then he can invoke martial law. But because we have remained unmoved and we are not taking the bait, they're getting more and more desperate by the day. And every week, there's a new term, there's a new phrase, there's something that is thrown out there with the intent to take us off our path and to make our joy go away. Therein lies the new catchphrase, which is Black fatigue. Now, Black fatigue is an actual thing. And it's about how Black people are fatigued by the racism that we deal with on a daily basis. And to the white bitch that got on here and co-opted that term, fuck you in the unwashed gangbang pussy you popped out of. We can start there. You're unseasoned and unwashed, just like your chicken, you cock-a-doodle-doo face bitch. But her account, I don't know her name. When it comes to these people, I don't give enough of a fuck to learn their names. But she has since disappeared. The original video is gone. Her account is gone. Which lets me know that they're just planted here to, again, cause discourse. And that's the thing. We can talk about this. I'm talking about it right now. But my joy remains unmoved. I'm talking about it in the sense to bring awareness to my people that this is what they're trying to do. I'm not talking about it to change anybody's mind. Fuck that shit. I don't need to change their mind because it's never going to change. They're racist and it is what the fuck it is. So we can talk about these things. We can have a discourse amongst ourselves as long as we stay true to the issue at hand, which is to not go out there and to remain in our joy and for that joy to remain unmoved. Because if you pay close attention, what she said in the video, and I'm paraphrasing, is that every time she opens social media, she sees hood rattery, ratchetry, and Black people fighting on cruise ships. Now that caught my attention because that's oddly fucking specific. Now, see, this is how the algorithm generally works. If you watch a video, first of all, for that to show up on your page, you have to be actively seeking that out. That's some shit you got to type in the search bar because that's not going to pop up. I'm on Black TikTok and that shit don't pop up. You have to go search for that. And just like you have videos of Black people fighting on cruise ships, there's plenty of white videos of white people fighting on cruise ships or destroying whole fucking cities when their teams win sports. But nevertheless, back to the issue at hand. When you watch a video, even if you don't like it, if you watch the video past a certain point, or especially to the very end, if you save that video, if you share that video, if you comment on that video, you're engaging. And you're telling the algorithm in some form or fashion that you like this type of content. So if you're a white person that doesn't like Black people and you're tired of Black people and you don't have anything in common with Black people, then the only reason that Black people will be showing up on your FYP is if you're actively seeking us out. And you're actively seeking our content out. And because MAGA doesn't have an original thought between them, now you're starting to see, now that her video is gone, you're starting to see all these other white racist people talking about how they have Black fatigue and how we're all over, let it finish the fucking job. Case closed.
Next on the docket, we have Shiloh Hendricks. You meth face looking bitch. Now we all
you can stop it now because I
white
think it
woman that
looped.
called an autistic, a 5-year autistic black boy the N-word, and she's probably racked up $1 million plus at this point. I'm not gonna touch too much.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can. It looped again, so you can
it
stop. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Hey, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna come back to this because it's about to cut out, and I'm gonna send you the next link to finish this out. Okay.
Okay.
All right, sounds good.